We are now at the series finale of Pose, and I cried so much through this whole entire 2 hour finale that I lost count. Let's talk about it, y'all. Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome back to KRSTV. This is your boy Kenny. Now, remember, subscribe to my channel, and click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, follow all the information I have in the description box as well as the comment section. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video. Now, before I get started with this review, let me send a special shout out to Metro Health DC. If you are in the DMV area and you're looking for quality health care, reach out to us at Metro Health DC. The number is in the description box in the comment section. And also check out Metro Health DC YouTube channel, which is also in the description box and comment section. And definitely give us a call, and someone from the outreach team will be in touch with you. Also, let me send a special shout out to GMHC, which is Gay Men's Health Collaborative. If you are in the DMV area and would like to get tested for HIV, reach out to us at the GMHC crew to get yourself a home testing kit. You can have the kit mailed to you, or you can call and make a same-day appointment and come to our location to pick one up. And if you're also interested in getting set up for PrEP, which is HIV prevention medication, reach out to the GMHC crew for that as well. Also, if you're a fan of your boy here at KRSTV and would like to become one of my Black Diamonds, subscribe to my Patreon today, Black Diamonds, because in darkness we still shine. And also check out my YouTube partner, BK WorldTube, which is the Black Netflix. You get shows like RuPaul's Drag Race, to the Haves and the Have-Nots, and The Oval, and many others. So after you watch this review, click that link in my description box to check out BK WorldTube. Now, this is Pose Season 3, Episode 7, and this is the series finale. This was 2 hours, and I must say it was a sheer tearjerker. I cried so many times throughout this episode, and then I also got my life in many areas of this episode as well. But I can honestly say they really did a good job with this series finale. They ended it very well, and I just thought the flow of it was just everything. And I, for one, am going to miss Pose, because Pose was us. It was the LGBTQ community. It told the truth about the HIV and AIDS epidemic. It told the truth of how like politics and the government and all of this was just really just ignoring the fact that there were people dying left and right, and like literally created an epidemic that could have been prevented. So in the beginning of this episode, we see that Blanca is working with a patient named Troy, who's a young white kid, and we can definitely tell that by this stage his HIV is beginning to mutate to AIDS, because he's starting to get lesions on his skin, and he also has this infection on his tongue, and he's actually reading up on this trial of inhibitors that they're now giving out for HIV to help treat the virus. And Blanca pretty much told him that, hey, unless you on the black market, those type of treatments are being held by the FDA. So, your chance of likely getting into a program like that is slim to none. And then while she's talking to him, she gets Nurse Judy calls her attention and pretty much said, "Did you know that son of a bitch Pray Tell is up in this hospital and didn't tell nobody?" And they just admitted him. So they go to confront Pray Tell, and Pray Tell has gotten pneumonia, and he does not look good at all. Like, he really is looking like it's very close to the end. And pretty much they was going off, and he's like, "Oh, hush up. I didn't tell y'all asses because I knew you two heifers would find me anyway." So while he's there, Blanca and Pray Tell have a moment. Pretty much he asks her, that he wanted to help her, that he wanted Blanca to help him finish that memorial quilt for the, so she goes to get it, and inside the bag, he got sequins and tulle, and it's just everything. And he was saying that, "Oh yes, I want to Sylvester it up. So when those government motherfuckers who look down, who did absolutely nothing, they will see that we lived our lives with fabulosity." And I was like, you better get it, Pray Tell. And we see that she ends up cuddling with him, and she pretty much tells Pray, "I'm not ready to lose you." And I can honestly say I wasn't ready to lose Pray Tell either. So then we see later on, when Blanca goes to see Troy, I think like a few days or so later, Troy looked good. Like, you could tell that he, that a lot of his symptoms have subsided, the lesions and stuff have been removed. He looked really good. And she was like, "Well, did that because she had told him about this antifungal medication that he can use, because he started to have, his tongue has swollen up, and he got lesions on his tongue." And once she saw him, it was like he was a brand new person. And she's like, "Did that medicine that I prescribed, did that antifungal medicine work?" He was like, "Oh, no, I'm in the trial." He's been getting that cocktail of medication, which consisted of all these inhibitors, which have now, it's to the point now where, at one point you had to take all these different medications. Due to the advance of the medicine, you now only have to take one pill a day. And it's even progressed now to where there's now an injectable called Dovato that you can now just get an injection once a month, and it will help you treat your HIV. So it's just great seeing all of this, because I'm a community health worker, so I'm actually in the field. So to actually see that this is some of the work that I'm doing, and knowing how much went down that led to me being in my role, it was actually it was very touching, to see how far we've come, but yet how far we still need to go. So of course, when Blanca hears about this, she shares this with Nurse Judy and Christopher is mad as shit, because he's like, "You mean to tell me they got this thing going on, and all these people of color are dying left and right, and they need access to this, and they can't get access? What the hell is this?" So they go and talk to the hospital administrator, whose name was Vanessa, and they asking her questions like, "Well, how many people are in the study?" She's like, "I can't reveal that." And Chris was like, "I can answer that, 80. And she was like, "Well, how many people of color?" She's like, "I can't answer that." He's like, "I'll answer that, 2 out of 80 people. And it just goes to show how fucked up the government is, to the point where all these people were dying, and yet when it came down to running this trial of medication, they only catered it to privileged white people, but people of color were disenfranchised. And yet it just goes to show you how screwed up the government operated. And they pretty much threatened old girl. Well, in a way, not threatened her, but kind of told her that, this organization act up, we can call them down here and they can act the hell up. And That won't be good for optics, will it? And she was like, I don't like being threatened, but I agree with you. And she's like, look, because they was doing this because they wanted to get Pray Tell into the trial, and they was like, okay, I'll admit your friend, and then like Christopher was like, no, I want 2 slots, one for Pray Tell and one for Blanca. Blanca, being black, being a person of color, she really went with that. I mean, she was with Pray Tell getting it because Pray Tell is literally at wit's end. But she's been doing pretty well. She hasn't been sick in over a year. She's thriving. And she starts bringing up the Tuskegee Institute and all of that. This government only sees us as guinea pigs. Can you imagine? Can you remember like the Tuskegee Institute and how many men died, because of syphilis, because they were injected with syphilis, and then, she started naming all of these different experiments where we were literally not treated as human beings, but treated as guinea pigs for science, and our lives didn't matter. But he said, but then, Chris said that no, I understand you don't trust them, but you need to trust me because I want you to have this because I don't want to lose you. And I was like, ooh, you better do it, Daddy. Yes. Ooh, I love me some Christopher. And I have to say, shout out to Jeremy Pope because he's doing a great job. And also, before I go on, let me also send a special shout out to Billy Porter, who recently came out and said that he has been living with HIV for 14 years, which is great because he can now can be seen that you can live and thrive with HIV. That HIV is no longer a death sentence, and if you actually start getting treatment and you continue to live a productive and healthy lifestyle, that you can live and thrive with HIV. So it was great to show that here it is, you have this prominent black man who's been living with HIV for 14 years, and yet he's thriving, and yet he's playing a role of a character who's literally battling with the same illness. So we pretty much see all that go on. Then we see that Pray Tell and Blanca get admitted into the program. And next thing you know, I think it's like maybe like 2 years or so down the line, like around 95 or 96ish. And Ricky's walking down the street, and then all of a sudden we see Pray Tell. Pray Tell looked fabulous. His health returned. He was styled and looked clean and everything, and him and Ricky, caught up and everything. And you can definitely tell that there's still love between them. I mean, they're not together, but they still have a deep love for each other. And pretty much, we see later on that Pray Tell is looking good, and he's meeting with Nurse Judy at the hospital, and Nurse Judy is very emotional because she's because she just thinks of like all of the dead bodies she's had to see, because that AIDS ward in the hospital was just gloom all the time. And she was like, she was just like really emotional that this study needs to be given to the majority of the black community, because so many of them are dying left and right. And here it is, there's treatment, and yet majority of the population can't even get access to it. What kind of fucked up shit is this? And then we see that Blanca and Christopher come back. Well, I forgot I kind of skipped over it, so let me go back between Ricky and Pray Tell. Pray Tell actually has been doing work with the Gay Men's Chorus. They're phenomenal, by the way. He's been working with them, to help with his sobriety since he stopped drinking. And he invited Ricky to join them. And pretty much how the choir stands is that, they were just singing with their backs to the audience. And Ricky was like, why are we doing that? He says, well, the guys in white are the ones who suffered from HIV but actually survived. And we only saw it was only 2 people in white that were facing the audience, while everybody turned with their backs turned to the audience, represented all the lives that we lost. And so that was deep. And then we also see that he has like a little get together with the gay men's chorus at his apartment. Pray Tell and Ricky are hanging out, and pretty much he asks Ricky, like, what you got planned on doing? You plan on going back on tour? And Ricky was like, no, I don't plan on doing that. I'm nearly 30 and I haven't accomplished nothing with my life, and I'm just tired of just going from audition to audition, from house to house, from bed to bed, and Pray Tell immediately clocked that something wasn't right. And pretty much he's like, what's going on, Ricky? And Ricky gets emotional and he unbuttons his shirt, and we see that he has a lesion on his chest. So he's starting to the virus is now starting to take its toll on him. And I knew from the fact that he showed that something was going to happen, because this would lead me to when he meets up with Nurse Judy, and Nurse Judy is mad that, because he mentions the whole situation with Ricky. And that's what made Judy remorseful. Like this is really fucked up that they actually have something that's working, but yet majority of the population doesn't have access to it, especially people of color. And that's when Blanca and Christopher run in and was like, they're not letting nobody else into the trial. And then this just angers Pray Tell, because he's like, they just won't stop killing us, will they? Because here it is now, they killing us with the virus, but then the ones who survive, we end up dying because we're having survivor's remorse, because we are living and watching everybody else die. So this definitely led to a protest, with ACT UP, protesting pretty much, healthcare is a right. Healthcare is a right, which it is. And I'm actually can say I'm honored to work in the field of healthcare. I don't take it lightly. So, based off of all of this, I definitely don't take it lightly, even more so, because people have fought, for, people to get access to adequate health care. And even to this day, it's still a challenge. So the fact that I can play a role to actually help people to get access to things, it's something that I thank God for, because it truly is a blessing to be an aid to help others. So we see that they're leading this protest, and the police get violent, and I think even one of the guards hit Pray Tell because Pray Tell was on the bullhorn and was going in. And then we really see that this was really going on. Violence was actually being used for people who were protesting that healthcare is a right. I mean, it really kind of makes you look at America like, man, America is really fucked up. Really. It's crazy. So then we go to the ball, and let me say, this ball gave me so much life. And we see that Pray Tell is still angry, and then Blanca's like, yeah, but they're coming up with something where they can make the drugs a little bit more affordable. The beginning of ADAP, which is the AIDS drug which is the AIDS drug assistance program. I actually do those applications too. So yeah, so this is the beginning of ADAP, where they now have a program, each government all across the country, they now have a program that actually helps people who are living with HIV to get their medications. Either they get some of the price knocked off, or yet they get full coverage. So, but then Pray Tell just flipped off. He's like, that shit ain't enough. Because it's seriously, we have lost so many lives, and here it is, they're trying to, you know, just lower the price. He's like, no, they should be giving this damn drug out for free. You know, people are losing their lives. Like, it's an epidemic. But that's pretty much the pharmaceutical companies. They're all about trying to get a coin. But we also see in this scene that Blanca and Preytel just have this open exchange with each other. He pretty much says that he's happy for her, that she's found Christopher. And she's like, yes, I'm lucky to have him. He's like, oh no, sis. He's lucky to have you. You know, you're the prize here, and you need to know that. And he's like, look, he ain't my cup of tea, but he is perfect for you. And she's like, but he is fine though. He's like, yes, he is, child. And we find out that Christopher's gonna be there for their performance. And you know, this is his first time at a ball. So I was like, this is gonna be interesting. And you could just tell from the exchange that it was really surreal, like something was about to go down. And definitely after that whole situation between Preytel and Ricky, I'm like, something's different. You know, and Preytel was kind of given like this aura that he was kind of, you know, making things right, because it's like he knew that he was about to transition. So then we go to the ball, and they pay homage to the legendary Miss Ross herself, and that iconic concert she did back in 1983 at Central Park, the year that I was born, child. And I even remember as a little boy seeing that concert and just being captivated by Diana Ross, because she literally was a goddess that night. I mean, she literally had this, you know, she literally had like this gold jumpsuit on that was just bedazzled with rhinestones, and she had like this big, you know, like chiffon, pretty much like this like chiffon wrap that was just blowing in the wind along with her hair. It was just everything. And then when it started raining and she just still kept singing regardless, she literally was a brave woman that night. And that is a historic moment that we members of the LGBTQ will never forget. I mean, she was already a superstar to us, but that moment made her an icon, like big time. And I even remember as a kid watching it, you know, I was just like, wow, that's amazing. You know, and I was an instant Diana Ross fan. Like, for about a good 5 years as a child, I was obsessed with everything Diana Ross. I bought the Dreamgirls book. Anything Diana put out, I bought. You know, I was obsessed with Diana Ross. And it all led to that moment in Central Park. You know, that happened the year I was born, because I was born in January, and I think the concert happened in June. But they pretty much did Ain't No Mountain High Enough, and they literally paid homage to that performance, and they did it as a duet. Preytel and Blanca did that shit. I was literally up in my living room going the fuck off. I was like, you bitches better do that shit. Especially once they, you know, changed their outfits and started doing the choreography, and then they brought out the water where it was like they were singing in the rain just like Diana was. I damn near broke down, because I was like, wow, that was so special. And they literally brought that moment to life, because both of them got soaked in the water and they were just spinning and twirling and still lip singing, and they were doing Candy Sweet Refrain. That was like one of the best moments for me this whole episode, was when they did that number at the ball, and they killed it, and the proceeds went to you know, HIV and AIDS research, and also to support those who needed assistance as far as medication. So, and you can just kind of get that aura that Preytel knew that this was going to be his last his last hurrah, because afterwards we see that Chris lets them know he enjoyed it, and he says that it's just like church, people getting their life, praising, getting their glory on, getting their shout on, it's like it's spiritual. And it is, being at the balls is a spiritual thing. It's just like house music, when you go to like a rave, it's like a spiritual thing. It brings out some of the greatest parts of yourself. And the balls are known for that. So we can definitely see that, Pray Tell, he kind of hugs, Blanca and whispers in her ear, "Ain't no mountain high enough." I was just like, oh shit. Ooh. And I just kind of felt like something's about to go down. And then when Blanca and Chris was walking off, he was saying that, yo, Doc, take care of her. And he's like, oh yeah, I definitely will. It's like, I got it. So we can just kind of see that in Pray Tell's face, it's like he knew he was going to die. But I'm like, how the hell is this possible when you're getting all of these, inhibitors, and you look great and Blanca's doing well? So how is it that Blanca's doing fine and you about to die? How's that going to happen? But I clocked it. But I'm about to reveal it to you. So finally he goes home. He's pretty much playing Say a Little Prayer by Aretha Franklin, one of my jams. And then all of a sudden he's in front of the mirror taking off his makeup and everything. And did that give you a reminder of when Annalise Keating did that on How to Get Away with Murder? Where he just revealed all the makeup and everything, removed the cap and everything, and all of a sudden we see him blowing out the candles, and I literally started tearing up when he was doing that, because it was like an indicator that Pray Tell was about to pass on. And then the next morning, Ricky goes in there thinking, because he was supposed to meet up with Pray Tell, and he finds Pray Tell in the bed, unresponsive. He tries to give him CPR, and he pretty much calls 911 to come to for the ambulance to come. And we just see he cuddles up next to Pray Tell, and he just cries like, "I need you, Pray. Don't leave me. Don't leave me." And then all of a sudden down at the hospital, we find out that, we see that Nurse Betty, we don't hear what they're saying, but we know that Nurse Betty is letting Blanca know that they just rushed him in the hospital. So immediately Blanca starts running, and she sees Ricky at the front desk, and she's like, "What's going on with Pray?" And he says that they did everything they could and they couldn't revive him, so Pray's gone. And then she just completely broke down and just hollered and screamed. And that really took me there, child. But then what really bothered me was the fact that them damn disorderlies and everybody working in the office literally acted like it was business as usual. Nobody catered to her or anything. And then Ricky's breaking down, she's breaking down, and everyone's just going around like it's just a regular fucking day. I'm like, just the lack of empathy and the lack of cultural humility just really made me angry. And it was just really, really, really crazy. But pretty much because the thing is, Christopher was so happy and so proud of them that he wanted to make dinner for them. But of course, Pray Tell passed, so he wasn't able to make the dinner. And while they pretty much got the lasagna, can't nobody eat because everybody's just saddened by what happened. And pretty much, they was like, how the hell did that happen? I mean, you're doing well, Blanca, and Pray Tell just upped and died, and he was looking good. And they pretty much said that, pretty much Christopher said that he died due to, he had inflammation of the heart, which he had a heart attack. And pretty much they was like, it's probably something that he's been battling for quite some time, and maybe the drugs just improved his immune system, but he still had other things going on. But boo-boo, that really wasn't the tea. What really shook it, which is what I clocked. Remember back when, because pretty much, Blanca notices that, Ricky, you're doing really well. I mean, you look great, and you ain't even on the pills. And so she thought. Because Ricky shared, I've been on the pills for months. Pray Tell has been giving me some pills and everything because I showed him I had a lesion, and he started giving me medication, and he told me that he had a hookup up in the program and he was getting extra meds. Oh, Nurse Judy shut that down. She was like, oh, no. There's no way in hell he's getting extra meds. And there's no way he's able to steal them either because they got him locked up. So what he get is what he get, and there's no extras at all. And that's when Ricky figured it out. Oh my God. He was giving me his meds. So Pray Tell literally sacrificed his life to save Ricky's. I have nothing but the highest respect for somebody who would do something like that, because that is agape. That is real love. Like, he loved Ricky that much that he was willing to sacrifice his life so that Ricky can live, because Ricky is almost 30. He still has a full life to live. Pray Tell has gotten to that point where he was happy. He was content with everything. He lived the life he wanted to live. He righted all of his wrongs, and he was ready to go. But man, that was really heavy. And the fact throughout the episode, we see that Ricky was just torn up to know that Pray Tell could have lived, but he chose to save Ricky because he loved Ricky that much. Because I think the love was more deeper than just a physical love. It was a deep love that they had for each other. Because even when he told Pray Tell, he even told Ricky that, you love me for me. You don't see me as an old man. You don't see me as like a sugar daddy. You just love me for me. And it was a beautiful thing. So then the scene that really took me out was this scene between Charlene, who's Pray Tell's mom, and Blanca. Charlene comes there with the ashes. Remember, his aunt Jada was supposed to come do that, but Charlene said that no, she wanted to do it. She kept half of the ashes herself, and she pretty much brought all the heart lockets for her to put some of his ashes in each of the lockets to give to everyone. And she said the rest of it, you can do what you want with it. But it was like really a good moment because Charlene really came there with respect. She had nothing but gratitude and admiration for Blanca. She thanked her for loving her son, and she says that you're more of a mother to him than I ever was. And she's just like, I just feel so bad. And Blanca said that you cannot live your life with that guilt, because that guilt will just eat you up for the rest of your life, and you can't live like that. She's like, he knows that you loved him. He knew. And pretty much she says that I know I don't have more time with Pray Tell, but I'm so happy that I was able to spend these few moments with you. And when they hugged and they both broke down, I lost it. I could not stop crying, because that really hit me deep, that, she was able to make it right, before he died. When they had that moment when he came home to Pittsburgh, and for her to actually fulfill his wishes, is like she finally accepted her son. And it was a beautiful scene. And yeah, I was crying buckets. So then they have another meeting with ACT UP, and ACT UP is fired up, and they saying that, yeah, we're gonna go to the mayor's house, and we're gonna spread ashes all over his front lawn, because they sitting back and just letting people die. They have access to this medication, but they won't give access to the people. And there's this one woman said that her son said that he wanted his body, his actual body, to be put right in front of the mayor's house, and we actually saw when they did that shit. And she says that, hell yeah, I'm with it. And at first, Blanca and Ricky weren't really gung-ho about it, but then they thought about it. This is something that Pray Tell would have wanted to do, because he was always sacrificing himself for the community, which as he did for Ricky's life. So they eventually caught on to it, and they did go there to the mayor's house. They broke the gate. They were spreading ashes everywhere, and this actually happened. And of course the police came in and started roughing people up and shit. And she spreaded his ashes there. And then while this is going on, the gay man's chorus is actually singing The Man I Love. And we see that everybody in the chorus is actually facing opposite the audience. So that means that's more people have died from AIDS. And they're all wearing black. And we see that Ricky is there singing, and he's in tears because he knows he's definitely feeling the loss of Pray Tell. And then it jumps from, because Pray Tell had died in 96. So now it's jumped 2 years. It's now 1998. Blanca is now a nurse. She's working at St. Vincent's. That's the hospital where everybody goes to get, tested for HIV and AIDS. Her and Christopher have been together for 4 years, and it was cute how they was like talking all sexy and nasty to each other. I was like, oh, that's so sexy. That's so cute. I was so here for that. So then we also see while she's there, she goes to visit Nurse Judy. Nurse Judy's now working on the 4th floor, and that used to be the floor where they took all the AIDS patients, but now the whole floor is now a paternity ward. So now she's bringing life, and I'm thinking Nurse Judy needed that, as far as like trauma-infused care, because seeing all that death can really break you down. So now that she's working in a maternity ward where she's seeing life being brought into the world, it's actually helping her psychologically and emotionally. And it was cool seeing her and Blanca rekindle everything, and they looking at all the new babies and all of that. So, and they see that now that they don't have to spend much money on AIDS anymore because of all of these different programs that are now coming to be. They literally redid the whole hospital, and it's real funny that when the AIDS patients were there, they ain't spend a damn dime on the hospital. But now it's no longer now, because that more medicine is now people have more access to medication. They don't really need an AIDS ward. Now they done did it all up and shit. As I said, this politics in the government is really fucked up. It really is. So we saw that go on. Then we actually see Blanca being a nurse, and it was kind of like going back to season 1 when Blanca first got diagnosed that she was positive. We see this girl that literally looks like Blanca did back in season 1. Her name is Safari, and she pretty much tells Safari that she's been diagnosed with HIV. And she asks, like, do you have any family? She says, no, I'm pretty much on my own. I don't have anybody. And that she's been working the piers, just like Blanca used to work the piers. So Blanca literally saw herself in this girl. And I just thought it was beautiful because it showed how things have progressed. And she pretty much says that, there are now treatments available where you can actually live a fulfilling long life. And she says, I have HIV. And she's like, you do? She's like, yeah. And I am living and I am doing very well. And you can too. What we're going to do is that we're going to put in an application, for the AIDS Drug Assistance Program, ADAP. And she also says that you need to come to this address, I think is going to do you some good. So she's literally going to take this girl under her wing. Then we see the girls get together, Blanca, Electra, Lulu, and Angel. And the way that was walking, I was getting Sex in the City tease, child. And while they was sitting, they was talking about it and everything. And Electra's like, girl, I ain't worried about these white cisgendered women and they bullshit. And then all of a sudden, when the waiter came to the table, he offered, he pretty much offered them, do they want a beverage? And that damn Lulu's like, oh yes, we want cosmopolitans. And like that damn Alexa's like, the hell with that shit. Bring us some Black Label. On the rocks around the table. Fucking they some fucking white women. They can have cosmopolitans. We don't drink that shit. I was here for Electra. She's like, shoot, we always was that. But then we see that Electra is still that rich bitch, and now she's expanding her business from being a phone sex business to now doing webcam interaction. So she's keeping up with the times. You got mail. So that was going on. And then we see that Lulu has gotten a promotion to be a tax manager at the bank she works at. So now she's going to be doing taxes for people every year. And then we see that Angel is glowing, being a mother. Beto's about to start the 3rd grade. And she's, Poppy's got her this, this new work, doing this hairspray campaign. And then also Blanca shares that, she got a letter from Damon. Damon is in Chicago. He's living with this guy, and the guy owns 3 dance studios. And Damon has been working and teaching in all of them. And then like daggone Electra's like, oh, he got a sugar daddy. I was like, oh yeah, ain't nothing wrong with a sugar daddy, baby. But yeah, so Damon stopped drinking and he got him a sugar daddy, and he's doing what he does, which is dance. So then all of a sudden Blanca said that she had to get going because she was due to the ball. And of course they all stuck because they're like all seasoned now, and they got pretty much prominent lives. And it's like, girl, we don't do that ball shit no more. You still go down there, to that, closed, ventilated, no air conditioning, you still do that shit. Oh, that damn Blanca went the fuck off. And she gave her speech like she normally does. But the he was on her because, Electra was like, we like, and they said, but she says, well, regardless of the fact, I got to go to the ball and everything. And we see that, there's some new evangelistas, and Ricky is now a house father. He's a father to all of these new evangelistas, because there was this one, I think his name was Dion. He was late or whatever, and he got Dion all the way together. And we see that he's now also a choreographer, and he's working with Destiny's Child. So Ricky's doing his thing. He's making money. He's now a house father. And he says, and pretty much, he gets his crew together. And Evangelista goes in there, they slay, they get 10s across the board. And then the ball announcer says that they have a special announcement, from somebody legendary from the ball is here to give a special Legends Award. And sure enough, and he says that this woman makes Diana Ross look like she shops at Ross. I was like, oh shit, that was real cut. And it turns out it was damn Electra. Electra came up in there looking like $1 million, and she gave the Legends Award to Blanca. So the he was on Blanca. They made them think that they weren't going to come, but they all showed up. Angel and Poppy, Lulu, everybody was there. And it was a very big moment. And then all of a sudden we see that the girl Safari shows up, and she ends up becoming a part of the House of Evangelista. And pretty much she introduces them and it's like, who is she? She's like, she's your new sister. Y'all take her back there and y'all get her together. And she's like, get me together. She's like, yeah, you about to walk your first ball. Yeah, go in there, find her something to wear, do her hair and makeup, and yeah, let's get it going. Yes, she will kill because she was a beautiful girl. So she will definitely kill in the film in like the in the face and femme category. Safari will slay. So she's perfect. And then we saw towards the end of the episode, it was literally like a replay because at first Blanca was sitting in the ball, everybody is gone, and she's hearing Pratel's voice. And then when she turned around, while she was walking out, she still can hear Pratel. She turns around and sees only the guy that's there cleaning up. But as soon as she goes outside, she sees this house mother with her kids, and this house mother is just really upset because they not winning, and she just getting really stressed out, and she's like, I just want to quit, like what the hell, like it's like we keep trying and we ain't winning, like I don't even know why we keep doing this shit, and just feeling defeated. And it literally went back to season 1 where the House of Evangelista started off and they were losing, and Pratel literally gave Blanca that speech that she needed to hear, and literally Blanca literally told this same woman everything verbatim that Pratel told her back then. And literally you saw like Pratel's ghost is literally there while she's talking to this woman, and literally lets her know that, honey, what's going to keep you going is those kids right there. And she says that you're going to lose a lot before you actually win. It's not going to always, you're not going to always win. You're going to lose a lot before you win. But the thing is, you don't give up. You keep trying. You keep fighting until you triumph. And that's how it ended. And I was like, man, that was a really fucking amazing finale. They did a good job of how they ended this show. It's been a pleasure reviewing this show. I'm definitely going to miss it. I thank you all for your love and support. But yeah, get down in those comments and let me know your thoughts about this series finale and about Pose in general. I would love to hear your thoughts. And I know that all of these actors and creators of the show are going to go off to do great and amazing things in the industry. So I'm definitely here for it. So thank you guys. And until next time, everybody, take care.